Hi folks, Will. It started raining, so I thought this would be a cool opportunity to talk about rain, staying dry, and how you can, still have fun when it's coming down outside. I gave the weather a few days to clear up and all the dampness to go away so that I could actually talk about some of these things here in nature, my backyard, whatever. So when dealing with rain, you've got two primary challenges: what comes from above and what comes from below. And there's a variety of different things that you can do to deal with that. The first, and I think the most common, is just deal with the wet feet. And I'm not a big fan of that, but there are ways to do it more effectively. So these are actually, canvas shoes. So they're gonna dry faster than, most of the shoes that you're wearing. If you don't like, boots, but you wanna wear shoes, having a canvas pair will allow you to swap out, and they'll dry pretty quick, but you'll want to bring multiple pairs. On the plus side, they're small, they pack pretty easy, and yeah, but I'm not a fan of that plan. Usually my favorite plan is a Gore-Tex insulated boot, or lined, that allows it to be effectively waterproof, very water resistant. And with these, they'll go quite a ways up. So running through puddles, finding wet grass and stuff like that isn't going to ruin your day. Now, if you do get to that circumstance, remember that not everybody else may be wearing waterproof footwear. That's a thing that I sometimes forget, and then I lead people through puddles. I try not to do that as much anymore. I'm not going to say it never happens now, but it happens less. Okay, so these I love this style of boot so much that I wear it all the time now. As long as it's not like a winter weight boot, it's fine. Now, it is sweatier, it is heavier, so adjust to that, or get comfortable with, packing them out in the socks for wet weekends. The hardcore option is the mud boots, basically. These are, rubberized plastic, and these are only about 20 bucks, and they work really well. Water's not going to get through them. It needs to come in from the top, and all that water is going to stay in there. But aside from that, once you pick an option, you're good. The stuff you may have access to already, pack on extra socks. If not, getting yourself a waterproof pair of boots, if they don't say waterproof specifically, they're not. This can run you north of $100 pretty easily, and if you're trying to be cost conscious, existing shoes, extra socks, bring spare shoes if you think the weekend's gonna be wet, or these, like I said, these ran me 20 bucks, and they get the job done. And you can apply a setting appropriate coat of paint, and it'll be good to go. Whatever your choice, remember, do your best to keep your feet dry, because if you take care of them, they'll take care of you. And if not, well, things will be painful. We've covered below. Now we're going to cover above. And because if you take both approaches, feet and up top, you're going to be way more comfortable and way more happy about your event, even if it's a monsoon. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually this, the umbrella. Now, umbrellas, you can get them fairly affordably, you know, not rugged ones. I had a costume umbrella that wasn't terribly sturdy, and it got snapped in half. But it made it through like 3 years worth of use, so I'm okay with that investment of my time. And the cool thing about an umbrella is it's this giant canvas on which you can customize it. You know, find an umbrella that you're not using. You know, acrylic paint, spray paint. You know, adding like making a giant mobile wind chime is totally a thing you can do, and it's worked really well. Now the challenge is it's kind of hard to hold this and fight. So if you're going to be involved in combat, you might want a way to stay dry during such. And there are some options. So to start, this is a duster. I absolutely love this. I've had this forever. You know, picked it up because it was used in a Shadowrun novel at one point. But this since I was a kid. But these things are amazing at keeping the rain off of you, but they're also kind of expensive. So it's not something that you'd want to beat up unless you find one on the cheap somewhere. Now there are some holes in this just from regular use, but I have not taken deliberate effort to mess it up. But extremely water resistant. The next option, which honestly is my suggestion for folks that are getting started out, is this, the emergency poncho. Doesn't really matter the brand. Just find it. They're like $1. Grab a couple of them and keep them in your just in case part of your gear. And if the sky opens up and water comes down, you're taken care of. Now, that doesn't necessarily look the part. If you're doing a post-apocalyptic thing, it doesn't really look like it. If you're doing, you know, fantasy stuff or cyberpunk stuff, cyberpunk might fit in. It totally fit in there. But if you're doing fantasy, you might want to try some other options. So that's this next thing. So this is a synthetic leather, and the goal here was, you know, it's like, oh, it's leather. It'll naturally kind of repel water. If it was leather completely, that would be fine, but there's also these cloth components to it. So in order to make sure that it was, or some other fabric, in order to make sure it was, you know, appropriately water resistant, I had to put in waterproofing stuff that I bought, you know, third party. Now, hiking stores, camping stores, all over the internet, there are waterproofing kits with sprays, or, you know, you can bake them in, you can do whatever. There's a lot of options. So figure out what you want, go after it, and at the very least, have, you know, at least one of these for yourself, one of these guys, the emergency ponchos, and know what your plan is for dealing with when your feet get wet. Because as long as you take care of your feet, your weekend is going to be okay. If you don't take care of your feet, your weekend can go south real fast. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me, and I'll talk to you soon.